Welcome to Not Trevor's Cinema. Today, Zach, am going to be predicting WrestleMania 42, 1 year in advance, which is way too far in advance. It's probably not quite a year anymore, actually. It's probably 11 months and a week or so. But this is part two, as you can see here. Pepper already did his predictions of what he thinks is going to happen a year out, so you can go check out that video if you want to see kind of what he was thinking. And yeah, we're filming this one probably like a week and a half after you filmed yours,
Yep.
but I did write down my predictions
Yep.
kind of around the same time.
You had yours made when you saw mine, so no switching around going on. Even though you might really want to now that the next week has passed.
Yes, now there's actually been some information between filming yours and filming mine, and it affects a couple of my matches. Because yeah, WWE's actually released a few of the people that I have on my card, but you never know. They could bring them back. They could bring them back. So we're hoping on that for a couple of these. But yeah, we will get into it. I think Pepper's got these in an order, so we will
Yes.
just
Yep.
get to the matches
I
as we
don't
get
really
to them.
know the order, and you don't really know the order,
So
so
we're
we
gonna be
just see.
surprised. We're both gonna be surprised.
Ooh. All still in
Hey,
the
yes.
company
All
right
still
now.
in the company for now. But yeah, for the Intercontinental Championship, Women's Intercontinental Championship match, um, I'm I'm thinking that Becky Lynch could maybe end up winning this title. It's one of them that, since they've made kind of the two new mid-card belts for the women, it's one that kind of the older generation, so to say, which they're probably all still like my age or younger, so they're not really that old, but the Becky's, the Charlottes, the Baileys that have, been around for a little while now. Uh, Now they have more belts to go back and try to get that they never got before, and I think this is one that Becky's probably going to win at some point in the year. And then I think we're gonna be building up maybe a couple new women's stars potentially. In Jordan Grace, I think she's done an excellent job the times I have seen her. I haven't watched, I think she's in NXT now. I don't know that I've watched too many of those matches, but I think she appeared a couple times when she was still in TNA. And she always kind of, I don't know, like I think she was she in two Royal Rumbles before she was
I think
signed.
so. I think so.
And I think both times they kind of let her shine a little bit, which WWE doesn't always do if they do bring out or bring in people that aren't like fully signed to the company. So that's definitely putting something there. And then I think this is the make or break year for this one is a shocking one that this person was not released with the people that ended up being released. Zoe Stark, I think, is this going to be her make or break year? I think if she doesn't kind of get some traction going, I think it's just gonna she's going to end up eventually, unfortunately, probably being on one of those lists. Uh, but I think the talent is there for wrestling, so I think this could be an amazing match.
Yes,
It's
for
just a
sure.
matter of outside of Becky on the mic. I guess I don't know either of the others' mic skills that much. So that's the only
Yeah.
part that might be a little lacking, but hopefully they've got a year can build these three up.
Yeah, I really like the match. I mean, Becky's a great character. You got the beef, the strength there, and then I think Zoe can do some really cool stuff. I've wanted Zoe Stark to get pushed for so long. I didn't put her on my card because I'm realistic, but like over the past maybe year or so, I've been like, I think they might pull the trigger. She might be like Miss Money in the Bank in 2025 or something, but I'm seeing nothing that's heading in that direction. So I have
Well, I
no
mean, we'll
prediction
see
of
that because now both of her tag partners, I believe, are gone. So maybe they're finally going to
true.
do something
That's
with
true.
her as a single
That's true.
star. But we will
Fingers
we will
crossed.
see.
Be a great match. I like it. And then you have the other Intercontinental
Ooh, the other one, and
Championship
we
match.
finally have our already actually have our street fight because we always have a street fight with a name of an actual street there or something. Like this last one was did it end up being Sin City Street
Yep,
Fight,
yep. Sin City
which I
Street.
had predicted a street fight. But I think I said the Vegas Strip Street Fight. I was wrong
Um,
on that name, but I think it'll be a Bourbon Street Fight. And yeah, I think Logan Paul, he was the U.S. champion for a while there, and they, yeah, kind of him hold it. I think they're gonna let him have another belt. I don't know. It just seems like that's where it's eventually going to lead. He always seems to have interesting matchups, and I think being a heel makes sense for people to chase him for the title. He can do some, I don't know, I was gonna say he does some heel tactics, which he does. Things happen in his matches, but overall, he seems to not always need that to
Yeah, I
win.
mean, even if
So,
he cheats a little bit in there, like his moves are still shown as devastating with his
yeah,
punch and his pulverizer. So
yeah. And I think this could be a great way for Sheamus to finally win the IC title belt.
it's never gonna
Uh,
happen.
I think I would hope these two, their styles could maybe mix. I'm hoping. We will see. Not 100% sure if they would mix well, but I think this could be really good, especially if you do really build Logan Paul up as maybe getting nastier and nastier, and everyone just wants to see the Sheamus just beat down of Logan Paul, 10 beats of the Valorant and whatever. I think this could build up being a great match. Logan Paul just had a match with AJ Styles this last year, so I feel like he could just keep having kind of these matches against some of these veteran superstars that WWE has, and uh, hopefully put on a good match.
Yeah, yeah, I'd be looking forward to that one. And then Paul would retain, and Sheamus would never get his
Well,
title.
that's why it's got to be a street fight because you got to make room for shenanigans with
That's true.
Logan. So Sheamus has maybe a little bit more to overcome,
Yeah, he could do
and then
like
maybe the Brawling Brutes show up, the old school, his
true.
old pals,
Get Butch out there. My goodness.
turning as Butch.
And then next up,
The match that I won, well, no, it's not this match, but the thing I wanted to happen this last WrestleMania, when we predicted in like the Royal Rumble season, I'm like, yeah, they keep teasing like this Dominic Mysterio, Judgment Day, Finn Balor kind of breakup and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, maybe Dom will have to turn face. I think at that point, the New Day was really heelish. I'm like, oh, they could pick on his father, and he has to defend his father. So maybe we get a similar thing here, like Penta and Rey Fenix, who have now teamed up as the Lucha Bros and are champions, have been champions for, we'll say, 200 days at this point. And maybe they've been, I don't know, making fun of Ray, telling him it's time to retire, you injured old man. You needed Ray Phoenix to fill in for you at last WrestleMania, giving him no time to prepare for his match, and that's why he ended up getting taken advantage of by a fake luchador. And yeah, they're just, I don't know, building up that they're just telling him to retire. So maybe this can be a retirement on the line if Ray loses this match. And Dom knows how important that is to him to keep his career. So he's like, I'll tag with you. Because for some reason, even though Ray is seen as this massive babyface that should have all these allies backstage, no one wants to team with him. No one wants to take on the Penta Bros. Because it's just, I don't know. Even though he's got I don't know how many people in the LWO and all this. Got to team up with Dominic Mysterio. It's the
hmm,
only one he trusts.
I like it. I like Dom and Ray teaming up again, and the fans are starting to like Dom, so I think a
Mhm.
face turn could be in order, or at least just maybe not the worst guy on the roster like he's kind of been for the past couple of years. So I'd like to see it. And they've been tag team before, where Dom was new in here, and I don't think people really bought into the character that much until he
Mhm.
turned heel, but. I think this could be some hot stuff if they team back up once again and
Yeah,
actually have Dominic being the best so many levels above where he was last time.
right. The reason people are gonna know the Mysterio name, Dominic
Yes.
Mysterio.
This next generation, they're gonna.
It's gonna. I, Now it's even crazier. I just thought about it. What if it was a heel Dom and Ray
Ooh,
taking on? So Ray. I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen because, like you said, I think Dom is turning babyface. So I feel like that'd be a quick turnaround to turn him back heel again for Ray to then turn heel with
that's
him.
true. Who is he,
But
Jimmy Uso?
he might be the Big Show,
Not-
turning at every pay-per-view.
Speaking of Jimmy Uso, is he in this match? Yes, he is.
Wow, Jimmy Uso is in this match, and as you can see down in the corner there, we get the TLC match we were denied at this last WrestleMania. We set it up. I've never heard the fans ever boo a TLC match announcement. That was the first time I'd ever heard them boo it because they're like, and it's gonna be on next SmackDown. I was like, wow, you've got WrestleMania, you got this open net, and you miss.
It's got the
How did you
huge
miss?
target of
How did you
WrestleMania.
mess
It's
that
like
up?
that over there. We'll do SmackDown. What are you
It's,
doing? What
it's
is it?
arguably you've built up the tag teams arguably better than they've been built in probably a few years now. It felt like you had a lot of viable tag teams, which isn't usually the case. It's usually like on the other side, the one that we did end up getting. You got the New Day and the Viking. I forget. They change their name all the time.
That it's
Is
War
it the War
Raiders
Raiders
again,
now?
I think.
Now are they the
I
War
think.
Raiders again? After
I
all
think.
these years of people wanting them to be called that, and now I'm finally bought onto the other, and I'll never get it right. But yeah, so you had like those two tag teams. I don't even know if there were any other tag teams on Raw, but it felt like on SmackDown there were a lot. And as you can see here, we don't have any of those SmackDown teams that we thought we had, and that's why it's the Raw or the current Raw Tag Team Championships. And I don't know, maybe the New Day's still champions at this point.
Oh yeah, they're champion. I forgot.
They are champions. And yeah, I feel like this is so you can see the top two teams here. I feel like these are two teams that we wanted so badly. Well, I did for years and years and years at WrestleMania to be in a TLC match, and I don't think it ever happened.
Yeah. Especially
I
when
don't
we
know.
got the Bar in there,
Yeah, the
Sheamus and
bar was
Charlotte.
there for
Like
a while.
they were a big team. They were right up there with them. Bang
They
them.
they really were, and their peak they were right up there, and like those three teams, I think they could have had an incredible TLC match. And it's so sad to think we did not get that because yeah, especially yeah, their prime, they were all like high top level. But yeah, maybe I'm hoping we get a chance to at least get two of those teams back here. The Usos will reunite after Jay ends up losing his title here to Logan Paul first, and Logan Paul will probably lose it to someone else. That's how he goes and gets the other, uh, the Intercontinental. But then you see here the Hardy Boys. I'm thinking will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this upcoming year, and they're going to have one more match, and that's kind of the pushing point to why it became TLC, maybe because they're like,
Yeah.
we want to go out on top. We want the best match we can have. Who knows if they win, they're going to vacate the titles. I don't know if they're going to keep wrestling, but uh, yeah,
No.
just getting that old school team in there with the other two is really, I think, going to be an exciting proposition for everyone.
Yeah.
And then at the show, we get an announcement that kind of like the Hardy Boys all those years ago when they got entered into that one match. Was that that might have been a ladder match? Was that a ladder match?
Yeah, that was.
And I don't remember which teams were in that one, but it's probably the Usos, New Day, and the
It
Bar
was.
or something.
Yeah, I think the Bar was there, and the New Day announced it, and they were
Oh
in the
yeah, the New
ring
Day did
gear,
announce it.
and it was like teasing, like, "Oh, are they gonna announce it? Who could it be? Who could it be?" And it was the Hardys, one of the greatest returns in WrestleMania history.
Well, we get a little bit of a redo of that with a returning Kevin Owens after his neck surgery, being able to compete at that following WrestleMania.
They're like,
And
"Get
we
out there,
immediately throw him into the TLC
get out there,
match.
and go through some ladders."
Supposedly, I think I had seen that he was saying that the whatever was it a TLC match or just a ladder match with Cody?
Ladder. Yeah.
Ladder match with Cody and the like hardcore match with Sami Zayn. I thought I saw something that neither one of those he thought were like the major cause of it, so I'm sure they did not help. But so this should be no biggie uh, for the TLC match. But yeah, I think this could happen. I think.
I mean, it could. I could see something like it happening, but I mean,
Yeah, it might not be these exact teams,
when we
but
look at it, Kevin's out. They just fought to the death. Kevin and Sammy. Usos aren't together. Jay's the world champion. The Hardys aren't. They're in an adjacent company. But the New Day is in the division, so I mean,
and they've got the belts
you've
right
got a
now.
good chance.
That's true. You are making some good points, Pepper.
Yes. Yes, but you had an alternate version of this.
Oh yes, an alternate version of the mystery team that appeared, and this is based on the location of this WrestleMania. And the last time they were in New Orleans, we had a tag team that was put together. This person, for some reason, I don't remember why they couldn't find a tag team partner, but they ended up picking someone. Was it out of the crowd?
Out of the crowd, allegedly.
Supposedly out of the crowd, they picked
Yeah.
him. And they were a young one, the youngest champion ever, I
Yes.
think.
Yes, the
And that is a
youngest
Nicholas, a
champion.
returning Nicholas and Braun Strowman.
My
Uh,
goodness.
now, unfortunately, Braun was released, so it's going to make it a little tougher. So they would both possibly be returning, which would be even more exciting. But yeah, I just thought that would be kind of an interesting callback if it was maybe announced ahead of time that you don't know what team it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine anyone would think of that. But at the
No,
same
no.
time, I have no idea. Yeah, Nicholas now much older.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if he would have any interest in that.
Yeah, he'd be
Sure, it'd be a
about
nice little payday, but
be
I
about
don't know if he'd want
20
to
or
be in a TLC.
something. And I mean, what if Nicholas starts wrestling, gets the thing, and then he has to go find someone to be the tag partner, and you have Braun Strowman in the audience sitting there, and he brings them out there. Oh my goodness! Now that's you can't argue with. That'd be the greatest WrestleMania moment of all time.
That would be a pretty good WrestleMania moment. Just the worst part with this one is I just don't know. Unless Nicholas is wrestling, I have no idea. Or is in training and stuff. I just don't think a TLC match is probably where this is going to happen. But
Yeah,
I would love
probably,
it if it did.
probably not. So yeah, I'll give you a credit if Nicholas shows up, or if
If
it's
Nicholas just shows up.
anything close to this. Next up, it's by far my favorite prediction that you made.
So far.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so half of the competitors in this women's tag team match are no longer with the company. I don't understand it. I don't think I'd ever actually seen them wrestle. I didn't really know who they were. But when they had that tag team women's gauntlet match, that the other team here won, Bailey and Lyra won that one. I thought, holy smokes, who are these people? They're an incredible tag team. I don't know that they'd be great, by themselves as single competitors, but their
yeah.
in-ring action, I was like, holy smokes, these guys are really good. And that's Kate. I always forget their name, Caden Carter and Katana Chance.
Yep. Yep.
Um, yeah, but I thought, wow, I think these people, this is what the women's tag team should be. They should be the champions. So when I heard they were released, I'm like, well, just give her the belts then. I mean, you obviously don't want any actual teams. You just put these random Frankenstein teams together constantly. Jeez, come on. Maybe they
Um,
were a Frankenstein team at some point, but they seemed like they had amazing chemistry. So I don't know, but
they don't give
they
it the
might come
time.
back
They
when
don't
they
give it
figure
the
out the women's tag team championships are meaningless now. They'll be like, we got to bring them back. They're the only competitors that have any chance. Um, and somehow I guess, in this case, I thought they were going to be champs, but maybe now they won't be. They will also be returning.
night of
But
returns and retires, apparently.
yes. But yeah, I was thinking that Bailey and Lyra would somehow get the opportunity to challenge this WrestleMania since they did not get that chance last WrestleMania. So
Yeah.
maybe they won't be facing them, but I think they could still have a women's tag team championship match next year, even if it doesn't end up being against those two.
Yeah, it'd be a nice year to year kind of follow through with the story. Plus Bailey, although I feel like they might give Bailey something much bigger after they robbed her of a WrestleMania match.
You think they're going to give Bailey something much bigger?
Uh,
Okay, Pepper.
I don't know. She might leave the company too after how they treated her. Who
That's
knows?
true.
They might
That's
only have
true.
Lyra Valkyria.
That
Well,
is true.
no.
And another tag team faction that I wanted to reunite for a 3-on-3 tag team match. As you can see there, Chad Gable, not to be confused with El Grande Americano, like many people think. They're not the same. He some I don't remember why, but he for some reason, or I don't know why, but he gets back with Otis and Akira Tozawa because he's he continues to kind of have interactions with them, so I think it would be nice to have them eventually reunite. I would love it to be a great year for Otis, especially. Akira Tozawa too, though. Yeah, I mean both of them had matches with Gunther, and they were both 10 times better than the match Jay put on with Gunther. I don't understand it, but I was like, gosh, these guys could be an amazing tag team. Why not give them a chance? And then immediately, I thought, oh, good, it's gonna start it this year. I don't remember if I had made the prediction before or after this, but then returning Rusev ended up demolishing them. So we'll see if it even leads to anything or if they just keep being jokes. But I'd like it if they had, you know, if they build them up kind of throughout the year, and then Chad finally realizes like, wow, these guys are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
They just needed more time, but I don't know if Rusev's going to be the new Chad character for them, teaching them through pain apparently. But I want them to all team back up because I think they make a great faction. They all work off each other, I think, really well. They have some really good comedy amongst themselves, and they will be taking on the three other members of the Paul Heyman Society, or whatever we want to call that group. So it would be Seth and Braun Breaker, and then the three guys here. When Finn and JD McDonough get kicked out of the Judgment Day, they will be joining up with them, along with a returning at some point Bronson Reed. Uh, I think I like my pick of Bronson Reed the most. I think when we were
Yeah, I
talking
like
about these a little bit, Pepper, you did bring up the Street Profits, and I'm like, I probably actually like the Street Profits better, and I don't think I had anything for the Street Profits to do, so I could see those swapping out with the Street
yeah,
Profits as well, but I wanted to put Finn and JD in something, so.
yeah, yeah. They're gonna get. You think they're gonna give Finn a big push? Put him into the Society of Paul Heyman.
Well, I mean, you need someone in the society to take the pins
That's
when they
true.
do get pinned, so we got to get
That
Finn Balor in here.
that is true. That is good thinking. I did not think of that. It makes sense.
Oh boy. Then we have what we have had this WrestleMania match before, and I believe this one I think was also in New Orleans before. Uh, Although that one was a little bit more important stakes, or maybe it wasn't more important stakes because
True.
this is going to be a career versus career match with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. They're both getting up there in age, so I think if they both put their best effort out there, I think this could still be an incredible match. They're not maybe as quick and clean as they once were. Even not, last time they were in New Orleans, which wasn't all that long ago. I think they were both probably a little bit quicker
Yeah.
than they maybe are now. But I think they could still put on a better match than probably a decent amount of the roster, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, I think, especially if AJ was thinking like one of these was going to be his last, I don't know when he actually plans on retiring, if it would be at a WrestleMania or not. Like doing some sort of career versus some match, I think would be a good way to go out. Or same with Shinsuke. I have no idea what his plans are, how long he plans on going for. I don't know that I've ever heard him or any comments from him saying like, "Oh, 3 more years" or something. But I know AJ has said only like a couple more. So yeah, I think this could be a very highly anticipated match.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'd
who's
like
gonna
it.
lose?
I'd like it. Do you think it could build up to a main event, a night one main event level?
Oh, unfortunately, I don't think they quite have the star power to capture that.
So no Taker, Sean type of thing.
I don't think so. As much as it could go to earn that. I don't know, but yeah, if it did, it'd be a night one. I don't think it could be night two. That would have to be an incredible build. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think you could get there without that, but
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. Good pick. I want this match again at some point. I want this match again at some point too.
And going back to looking at the match card from this last WrestleMania,
You're
not
just
not the
calling
New
back
Orleans one.
everything.
We're just doing callbacks here. I think, or I know Triple H or some of the people backstage had said like, "Oh, this isn't kind of the last of Joe Hendry or whatever that we're gonna see," and um, made it kind of sound like they might try to bring him in at some point. So I'm like, if they do get him over this next year, I can't remember. I think his was one of the contracts when I was trying to look at contracts, and sometimes I feel like they're more guesses online than like, oh, it's actually this date. I think he was one that was up this year, so he could potentially get signed by WWE. And I think if he did, I would like the idea of because I think you get a lot of people's they love the moment. I think of this. I don't think anyone disagreed that it definitely made for a great moment, but I think they also were a little like this really kind of buried Joe Hendry the way Randy just kind of RKO'd him, easily handled him. So I think this could be a great way, especially if he does get signed maybe early in the year and or early next year and you maybe just keep him off. Maybe there's another open challenge, and he comes back out and is able to compete a little better with him. Maybe even win. Maybe even go over the Randy Orton, who is the U.S. champion at the time. I don't know how he gets there, but he's gonna be. And note, if you've made it this far and you're wondering why are all the championships on the line, they're never all on the line. That was how we booked this. We booked all the championships, and then we added three, four extra matches.
No, yeah.
So yeah, that is why this is a championship match, and not necessarily just a normal match. But
Yes.
I
Yeah.
could see Randy being U.S. champ.
I could. I could. I think he's had it before, so he can do it again. No.
Then we need the United States Championship on the line on the other side, and I don't think Rhea Ripley hasn't had either of the mid card belts, right? So I could see her. It wouldn't surprise me if over this next year she goes and gets one of those, especially if they kind of take her out of the main title picture, which maybe they kind of have to do because I think there's just too much support for her. So unless you're going to have her win, I think it's just going to make it very tough for whoever the actual champion is. Not that that's always a bad thing, but if you don't really have any plans of giving her the belt, I think it'd be better, if you don't really care about your women's US or IC, you could definitely have her wrestle for that or even get that. In this case, I think she has gotten it. And we have a returning Paige, who I think her contract, or she might have just left, I think, AEW. So I can see her going for kind of one final run in WWE, just to cap off the career. I think she's been out of the company for a while now, so I think that would be a pretty big pop, her returning. I don't know that she necessarily returned here, but um, maybe we see her in the Royal Rumble and they kind of both eliminate each other or something, returning in the Royal Rumble. I think that could be a good setup for this match. And yeah, I think even if that was her last match, I think there's a lot of people on here that I'm like, oh man, these are all getting towards the end of their careers. This could be their last match or last WrestleMania match for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this is one of them. I think my predictions are a little more crazy than Pepper's were, because I am expecting a lot of kind of stars from other companies, promotions to come in, whereas you had maybe a little more NXT or current
Oh, yeah.
stars. So we'll see. I'm hoping one of these we'll keep going with a couple more. We'll see if one of them happens. But
Yes, we will see. I would like to see it. I would like to see it. Oh
speaking
my.
of which, we got a returning Chris Jericho as well.
Still
Who,
wearing the AEW t-shirt. Oh my
yes,
goodness.
It's gonna be very controversial that he's gonna be wearing that, because everyone it'll really be like kept on the down low. Maybe I don't know. I think this one has to build up a little bit. I don't know that he could just return. I don't think that really makes any sense. But I
Another open challenge answered by
all of them
another
are
company.
open challenges. But Karrion Cross has had I don't know. He's started to get interesting. I think over the last few months, and I'm hoping that we capitalize on that momentum. And I was just trying to think like, who would be the most interesting uh, person for him to kind of be interacting with. And I was just like, I couldn't really think of anyone that I didn't already have somewhere else. And I was like, it feels like he could be in some interesting feud with Chris Jericho because I don't know.
Yeah,
He just puts on some of the, or he's in the past put on like the Festival of Friendship, the friendship between him and Kevin Owens and stuff. I think back to that, like, oh, he just great interactions between the two of them, and I feel like this could have that same kind of thing.
yeah,
Uh, Build for months, and maybe they're originally allies and turn, one turns on the other. Um,
yeah,
to maybe carrying turns. He's like, you are part of the problem of, ruining the promotion or whatever,
yeah,
celebrity status, whatever his gimmick is. I don't know exactly what it is because he did not want Logan Paul to win, but he also is just trying to make people heel. I don't know. So,
yeah. Anything to get Jericho back. I will take it.
ooh, and then we've got the triple threat women's championship match, and I I think a lot of people are predicting more of a Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair championship match, but I think they could play this out for a while, kind of, have all of them kind of feud with one another. They already kind of had the Naomi Jade matchup, and I think you could still do more of a Naomi Bianca one. Bianca Jade, I think you could build that up throughout the year. Maybe have them kind of teaming at some points, and then immediately turning on each other. I don't know if this would maybe be one of these would be the Royal Rumble winner. But I think this could be an amazing triple threat match. This one, I thought I saw something about Naomi saying like if she wanted to have kids, it had to be soon. So I'm like, oh, that could be her last match
Mhm.
too. We got end of an era, possibly,
Bianca's got
because
a broken finger.
it's
She's gonna have kids. It's the last chance. This is end of an era. That is the name of this WrestleMania. My
it
gosh.
really is. But yeah, I think this could potentially have a chance of stealing the show. And this one, yeah, this could definitely be like a night one main event match potentially.
Yeah,
I think if it's
I could
built
see it.
just right.
I could see it.
Maybe we played too much of the Jade and Naomi this last WrestleMania to really build up that heat again. I'm not sure.
That's
Probably
true.
have to have that cool off a little bit before kind of reigniting it. But could definitely have some jealousy, especially if Jade ended up being the champion going into this or something. Um,
Yeah, for
could
sure.
really build that up.
For sure. Speaking of multi-person WWE Championship matches. Ooh.
This one, there's just so much talent on it. It's so stacked on the men's side of the roster. I mean, the women too, but I remember last year, men's Royal Rumble, we just had like that string of like 10 to 15 guys, and I'm just like, wow, all these guys could be main eventing WrestleMania. They could be winning this Royal Rumble. And then we have Jey Uso win instead. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't know how to get all these people in matches without making them all these multi-person matches. And I just thought this could be I don't know, just some crazy, crazy match with Gunther, Drew McIntyre, Braun Breaker, and Jacob Fatu. And yeah, Braun Breaker obviously representing kind of that Paul Heyman faction. Uh, Gunther trying to reclaim, make up for maybe what happened last year. Jacob Fatu taking that next step, knowing last year he became champion. And in my mind, I see Drew coming into this as the champion. I don't know. So
Okay.
he's kind of the person defending it
Did he
at
take the belt
WrestleMania.
off of Cena in this situation?
He did.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. He took it off of Cody, who took it off of Cena. He took it off Cody at Royal Rumble. So
Yep,
Cody maybe has no storyline.
true.
But
That's true. He's not going to make it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
this is amazing. They're going to break every barricade, every table, maybe even the ring. This would be uh, The other match, it can't be main event. This has got to be at least one of the main events for sure.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I could see this starting off one of the nights though, too. I
True.
think you could get the crowd pretty hot with a match like this, especially yeah, if it's you have a bunch of the spots and stuff amongst them all. But yeah, I could also see this definitely would deserve a main event status as well. So,
True.
so then we got the next match. What is that one, Pepper? Oh boy, we have got a women's championship match. And yeah, you can see here we've got some excitement. Some very exciting things happening. We've got Liv Morgan. I think she would maybe be the champion in this case, and she's taking on the up and comer Chelsea Green, who I think has done an amazing job with the U.S. title. I'm actually very, very upset that she ended up losing it to Zelina Vega. Nothing against Zelina Vega. I think she also does a great job, but I was just being entertained by that, which is what WWE's all about, is entertainment. And I'm like, I don't remember the last time I found especially some of these things that, I don't know, storylines that they give the women, which seems to be like, oh, they're friends one week and they're not friends the next week, they're enemies, can they coexist? All this trash, it's all they give them for storylines, which is really, really not a good thing when you see what can happen if you give them good stuff. And she had the Hervis, Secret Hervis, which I thought was amazing. I thought she was
Yeah.
doing a great job with it, and yeah, hopefully maybe she'll get it back. But also, I think it shows that I think she could take that next step and go
Yeah.
for the women's belt, and that's why I think by WrestleMania you could build her up for that. Uh, I don't know. I'm trying to remember her matches. I don't know if she's gotten to the point of being like one of my favorite to watch in matches wise, but
Yeah.
definitely character was probably one of my favorite ones over the last few months.
Yeah.
Not even definitely like top three, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't know. Just don't always get like some of these interesting storylines. I'm just probably remembering with rose tinted glasses back in the day when I was young. But it seemed like there were more of these kind of interesting storylines, and I thought that was a pretty good one. And if we
Yeah.
can do anything, doesn't have to necessarily be that, but can do anything interesting leading up to this match, I think, yeah, I think they both could be really good on the mic and have
Oh, yeah.
some great battles.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see her to become a main eventer for sure. Nice.
And don't you think that Randy and Joe Hendry is the only match we are repeating from last WrestleMania? And yeah, as I was making this match, both men's titles are now multi-man matches, not just a one-on-one, and probably not going to happen. But I'm just like, I don't know what to do with these guys. And I'm like, God, they put on a banger of a match. Why not run it back? Why not run it back? And this can be now night two's main event. I think yeah, it could be match of the pay per view again. I wouldn't be surprised if they put on another great one. I don't even know who I would have win this. I don't. I think
Oh,
I'd have
yeah.
Seth come in as a champion,
Yeah.
but and that way CM Punk gets his actual actual main event. I
Yeah.
know there's some people that are like, oh, night one isn't really the main event. It's not quite the same. And that's fair to a point. I think I personally count it as if I think as long as the match lives up to that of being a main
Yeah.
event, it doesn't just feel like that match kind of sucked. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that this was much more a main event than what we got from Cody Cena, and
Oh, yeah.
that fart that happened there. If we're gonna do that, I don't know why we didn't just have that night one because I get why. I mean,
Yeah.
Cena became a 17-time champion or whatever, 18, 17, whatever, however many belts he had. Uh, so I get putting that as a total main event, but as a match, it was not amazing.
Yeah,
If that
I
had
think
been
this
night
is
one, I would say, yeah, that's not really a main event.
yeah. I would think this is match of the year possibly for so far in 2024 and It's crazy to think last year, before that, it was Punk and McIntyre. Punk is possibly going to have match of the year, like every single year he's been back, which is crazy. And I think he could do it again.
That
He's
is
coming back.
crazy because I would argue Punk is much more known for his mic work than
Yeah,
maybe his in-ring, especially now that he's much older. I feel like maybe not. I guess I don't know if Punk was ever like an amazing wrestler. I don't know that he was ever like, oh wow, he's doing like. When I look back at AJ and Shinsuke Nakamura, I'm like, wow,
yeah,
do incredible things, and I don't know. It's been a long time. It's been over 10 years since he obviously had his initial run. I mean, probably 15, 20 years when he first started. So I
yeah.
don't remember very clearly how good he was, but I don't remember back thinking, wow, he was an amazing in ring talent. Uh, but yeah, so it's kind of incredible that the matches are actually living up to it. But I think part of that is maybe just the story built in that he's
Yeah.
really great at doing. And that's why I think you could definitely build this story again. Could be a little bit different, obviously, with Paul Heyman probably still behind Seth. So it's
Mhm.
an interesting thing of will he turn on Seth like he did on these other two, or
Yeah,
you could toy with that
we
idea.
can go with someone else, and then the year after that, we can run it back again.
3 times,
The
baby.
triple threat of triple threats. But yeah, I'm proud of you for not bringing in John Moxley from AEW to make it a Shield triple threat. So pat yourself
Yes,
on the back there, holding back. But yeah,
there we go. I was thinking about it.
that is not your main event. Um, you mentioned Cody Rhodes and John Cena from last year. What is Cody Rhodes going to be doing this year? It ain't
Like I said,
guaranteed.
Drew McIntyre beat him for the belt, and
Yes.
maybe when I'm thinking too much into this because I'm starting to think The Rock doesn't really have long-term booking plans. But I know he had mentioned that some star had texted him, said, "I'm ready to sell my soul," and that man might have been Drew McIntyre, and that might have been why Cody lost at Royal Rumble. So Cody is finally going to get his one-on-one match with The Rock. We're
Yeah.
all going to get The Rock that we wanted this last year. Didn't get involved with the Cody storyline. And yeah, I think this could be. He could even have his soul on the line in the match or something. So it doesn't need the title. And yeah, I think people would eat this up, even though
Yeah.
probably right now, Rock's maybe in some hot water a little bit with some of the fan base. Not they weren't that happy with what happened over this last pay-per-view cycle. Just the way it played out. It just for what they were kind of putting on screen versus what ended up happening and pretending like, oh no, that wouldn't have made sense for me to show up.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of gaslighting going on there, but
Yeah.
I think fans will be more than willing to forgive if he were to come back and have a match.
Yeah.
And I think if he were going to, it's either going to be Cody or it's going to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
agree.
why I would say between these last two matches, I was thinking we'd probably get some combination of these guys. Uh, one maybe taking on The Rock and the others, or maybe Roman's in this match and this is a triple threat and the other one's a one-on-one match. I think any of those options could be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. I'm down for if we're getting Rock and Cody, that's the one I'm more into, between for The Rock. Rock and Cody just because they have that story. I mean, obviously Rock and Roman would have a lot of story as well, but I just think this works a little better and that WrestleMania 40, all that build, beating up Mama Rhodes, all that stuff. I just want more of it. It was such a high. So give us more. Forgive you for all your mistakes if they give it to us. But
Right.
yeah, I like this card. You have a lot more like wild things happening with like the returns, Chris Jericho. I'm like, I would much rather see that kind of stuff happening than my lousy, realistic predictions. But I mean,
Yeah.
there's
I think I
gonna
was
be
thinking
people coming over. I mean, CM Punk is back. No one would have thought that would happen. Cody
it's
Rhodes,
true.
CM Punk, these AEW guys, top of the thing, coming back to WWE, main eventing. You would have been called a madman. So anything can happen.
That's true. Anything could happen. And I think I have so many of them because it's like just if one of those happens, if one
Yeah,
even comes close to happening, then I feel like it's all worth it.
yeah, yeah.
Even if everything else wasn't even close.
Yes. Yeah, we will have to look back in a year once WrestleMania is over, or at least once the kind of card is set and finished, and kind of look over these predictions and see how close we were or how wildly off we were. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll be more of the latter there. I think you're going to be more wrong than right, but you never know. Maybe between the two of us, we'll get a couple of them,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that would be pretty good. But let us know in the comments below what matches you think will happen at next year's WrestleMania. If there's any of these that you agree with, or you're like, there's no way at all. Which one would you give the least amount of chance of happening? Which one would you give the most likely to happen? I'd love to hear it, but otherwise. We hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on that WrestleMania 42 popcorn.